Each week on Culinary Confidential, Christina Cates, a seasoned foodie who has worked at some of New York City's top restaurants, will share her passion for the culinary world. Whether you're a professional chef, a restaurant enthusiast, or a lover of good food, Christina dives into the heart of hospitality, exploring the trends, triumphs, and challenges facing the food service profession. And you won't want to miss her chats with some of the most interesting and influential industry voices. And now, please take your seat at the table as Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates starts now, exclusively on AM 970. The Answer.
Welcome to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates. This show is produced in association with my dear friend, Lucas A. Ferrara. On the show tonight, we're going to talk about how to scale a brand. It's hard enough to open up one spot, but to be able to open multiple units of a concept in this market, not easy. My guests this evening seem to do it with ease, though. They've figured out a recipe for success for their concept, and with a little bit of food and influencer luck, they've succeeded in a big way, and they're just getting started. Before I introduce my guests, I have to thank Steve Cuccinelli. Steve was the guest on episode 3 back in October, who owns Wonder Bagels on Central Ave in Jersey City. We did that show together talking about being a small business owner in a climate of rising costs of goods. Every so often, I'll look down at my phone and I'll have a text from Steve, and it will just have a person's name, their phone number, and a message that says, "This is so-and-so. They'll be great on your show. Call them and tell them I said they have to be on." And that's how I wound up meeting Mike Salzano, who is on the show tonight, and his business partner, Ariel Strizower, who together own the overnight sensation Gnocchi on 9th in New York City. Mike frequents Wonder Bagels and was chatting with Steve, and Steve mentioned he had just come on the show. Now, this was a few months ago, and we're finally able to get together and do the show because Mike and Ariel have been beyond busy building this brand, especially through the holiday season where they had pop-ups all over New York City and all of the holiday markets. Gnocchi on 9th is where fast meets flavor. This is an Italian gnocchi grab-and-go concept where Ariel and Mike have redefined convenience without compromising on quality. They are serving a delicious product in a convenient way. They have several locations across New York City, but just started this venture together less than a year ago and have opened something like, I don't know, guys, like, what is it, 6 locations?
Well, if you count the holiday markets, it was 6. We're back down to our 3 brick and mortars.
Okay.
So.
Mike Salzano, Ariel, let me give you a proper intro. Welcome to Culinary Confidential. I'm delighted to have you in the studio with me tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I love an in-studio guest because it just makes life so much easier. This way, if you're talking too much and we have to go to commercial break, I can just give you the eyes and tell you to wrap it up, which I'll probably have to do tonight because we have a lot to talk about. Let me start with, how do you guys even know each other?
Mike, how do I know you?
I was that annoying guy that has been bothering him as a salesperson for how many years?
Too many.
Yeah. So we go back.
What are you selling?
Well, I was originally working for this company called Cloud Kitchens.
Okay.
And I was pitching Ariel when he was working at other food concepts to lease a cloud kitchen or a ghost kitchen.
What is that? I don't even know what that is.
So what a ghost kitchen is, it's a centralized kitchen with multiple brands in it.
Okay.
That you as a business owner could rent. And you would go ahead and rent said kitchen and run your business out of it for purposes of delivery applications.
Okay.
Some people would end up using it as a commissary kitchen as well and other purposes, like for food prep. I was pitching him that when I was working there. And then I pivoted into real estate, where I was doing commercial leasing and was leasing retail spaces and was working with him to try to find him a space for an alternative concept that he has. Mm-hmm. And we were on the subway looking at a space for that concept. And we just started chatting about pasta. And
which subway line?
What was it, the 1, 2?
The 1 or the 2,
yeah.
going up to Harlem?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we were taking a ride up to Harlem. And we just got chatting because I don't want to say we were bored, but, the subway takes a while.
Small talk.
Yeah. And we started talking about pasta, and we literally had the same idea. It was, I guess I'll let Ariel.
Somehow we both were thinking about doing a easy, affordable, and approachable takeout pasta option. So Mike started talking to me about it on the train, and it was bizarre because I was just talking to somebody else about it. So we detoured after we were done looking around in Harlem, and we went down to the East Village and Lower East Side looking at some small spots out of curiosity, and we ended up passing by what is now our first store. And I'd say within a few weeks we had the lease signed. Within a month and a half we were open.
This is amazing. I love everything about this story. You guys like came together on the subway, and now you're like this dynamic duo who are this overnight sensation with one of the hottest concepts in town right now. You should be very proud of yourselves.
It's a little surreal.
Yeah, we just wake up and do the work.
Right. You're just like head down, grinding it out. But like this episode's about scaling a brand, and you've opened up essentially 6 in less than a year. Because you just started this, what was it, April?
Yes.
2024?
Mid-April, so just under 8
We
months.
signed a lease. It took us a month to do the build out.
Which I'm sure you had some help with that, right? 'Cause as the real estate guy, you were like, let me take care of this paperwork.
I mean, that's essentially how like the negotiation was working and things like that was just because of my real estate background.
Yeah.
Kind of sped that process along. Could kind of understand the ins and outs of a real estate deal in New York City.
Yeah.
So sometimes what can happen as you deal with landlords or brokers or things like that, you have to deal with a lot of back and forth and ins and outs. You're waiting for a reply from an email from somebody.
Yeah.
And when you're waiting for that reply, that's, you're wasting 42 to 72 hours.
Yep.
So because I don't want to say I am the broker, I am doing the following up, I'm representing myself in this case. It's a different situation, right?
Are you still in real estate now?
I still have my license. But I'm primarily focusing on working for ourselves.
Yeah.
So like, it's kind of funny when we get messages on Instagram all the time or emails. Oh, I have this great property for you. Blah blah blah. I'm like, and I look at it. I'm like, yeah, I know about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
you
constantly
have the insider
looking.
scoop. Wait, do you do your own social media?
We do manage it. Like,
have I slid into your DMs? I don't even remember.
I don't
No?
No,
Okay.
Cuccinelli introduced
That's
us.
right. It was over text. We did it the
Yes.
formal way.
Yeah.
Okay.
You still can.
Okay.
I'll keep an eye out.
Yeah. You're doing your influencer blog, and I think you did do a post.
I did do a post about you guys
Yes.
because honestly, I was genuinely impressed with it. Like, I went to the Upper West Side location because I come from Jersey, so I was trying to keep it easy. And I got the gnocchi with the cacio e pepe and the truffle, and I was like, oh my God, that's actually really good. It was fantastic. Like, it's such a great idea, and you execute it so well. I said to myself on the drive home, like, why can't I think of things like this? Like, this is ridiculous.
It was really just a stroke of luck. When we opened the first store, we didn't know what to expect. It was just supposed to be a fun side project for us to both do and maybe make some extra income on the side. We didn't know. But the plan was definitely not to quit either of our jobs or make this a full-time situation.
Ariel, what are you doing on the side? What are the other concepts you have?
So,
Is it food related?
Everything I do is food related. My other big concept is only in the holiday market. So
Oh.
after January, it's 100% just pasta, just gnocchi.
So you are like the food guy. Did you go to culinary school or anything like that? Either one of you?
Neither of us went to culinary school, but I think that we both love to eat. So it was just an easy yes for us. We both love food, so if we're not eating or in the stores, we'll be in another restaurant eating all day. That's usually what our day consists of.
You have gnocchi, that's the product, but you have 4 sauces.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. So you have the pesto, pomodoro, cacio e pepe, and then you have the burrata topper, but you also have tiramisu for dessert. You have a salad as a side. So who's creating these recipes? Is this someone's grandmother's vodka sauce that they made growing up?
We have a Nona trapped in the back.
I love it.
No. So, like, I've been cooking since I'm a kid.
Yeah.
My mom consistently reminds me every time she sees me on TV or something like that, she'll send me this picture of me when I'm, like, standing on a milk crate in the kitchen, with my dad, like, making tomato sauce, as a child, because I couldn't reach the stove. And, we both worked on the sauces. It started off, as recipe X, but then it's like, no, it needs more salt, it needs more this, it needs more that. And kind of evolved the flavors of that as time went on.
So your employees, they're hourly employees.
Correct.
Are they making the sauces and things, or are they just executing? Like, do you have someone else who's in charge of prepping these kinds of things?
Every one of our stores makes all of their sauces pretty much on a daily basis in-house.
Wow.
So we have like standard recipes that they all adhere to, but in each store there's different people making the sauces every day.
That's awesome. Now, why did you go with the dried gnocchi versus like fresh gnocchi?
Consistency is number one,
Yeah.
right? So when we tried making it, the consistency was the problem, right?
Because
And-
gnocchi can be a little fickle.
Exactly. Like one day it could be mashed potatoes, the next day it could be, just hard as a rock. And
Yeah.
like the headache was finding something that would be able to allow us to be as consistent as possible.
What is the brand that you use? Can you say?
I mean, we have a giant mural on the wall.
Oh,
Yeah, if you go down to 9th Street, there's a giant mural of the Checo
you know what?
brand.
Let's not tell him.
They actually helped in getting that mural set up. They were excited to be doing it with us. They're a big brand. Everybody knows who they are.
Yeah, but why did you go with them versus someone else?
Well, it's the best quality. I mean, they're like the best in terms of what's like readily available. They're the best, and it's made in Italy. It's imported from Italy, and we tried a few different products, and that was the only one that even came like
Wow.
nothing else came close.
Who were your taste testers during this process?
I mean, I know it doesn't look like we gained that much weight. we do work out a lot, so
Not lately.
not lately though, not with the Christmas markets.
You guys are funny. What roles are you guys playing in the operations? Like, I'm sure you know, Ariel, you have your roles. Mike, you have your roles. Like, what are they?
I mean, there's not a day that goes by that we're not doing something in the store, whether it's helping ring up a customer when there's a rush.
So you're in the store.
We touch the stores. We go to each store on a daily basis. Like today, Ariel came in. He had to run some product from our Lower East Side location to the Upper West Side. So we were at those stores. So we make sure we only have 3 locations at the moment, right? So we're touching each location on a daily basis. We're making sure everything's good to go. We're doing the orders, the scheduling. It's not like we're covering a shift.
Yeah.
But like if it comes
You're
down to
doing
that,
the
It can
ops
happen.
part.
it can happen though.
Right. Have you ever had to fill in and
Oh yeah,
start moving gnocchi?
Mike and I have done it plenty of times.
Yeah, I mean, when it first started, right? I was employee 0, right?
Yeah.
So when it first started, I was the one who was behind the register making the gnocchi and this, that, and the other thing. And our first day, we didn't know what to expect.
Right.
Mike is not selling it. We literally didn't have other employees.
Yeah.
I was tied up with other obligations. So for the first week, maybe 2, Mike was there from opening to close. The only he was the only person working in the store. For
Like I
2
said,
weeks.
employee 0.
Yeah. Well, I just want to make that explicitly clear what that meant.
Yeah. So, like we had nobody else, right? So I'm making the sauce from scratch every day. I mean, he would occasionally come in and help make some sauce, but like, I was, doing everything from open to close, and it was like 9 to 9 every day.
Wow. What are your hours of operation there? Are they the same across all 3 stores?
So 9th Street and the Upper West Side have the same. They're open from 11 to 10 every day. The Lower East Side's open till 11 p.m. every day, except Friday, Saturday till 3 a.m.
Wow, those 3 a.m.ers. That's like great drunk food, I think, right?
Oh, yeah.
You roll out of the bar. You need a cheap eats type thing.
People love it. I mean, it's easy. It's not messy. It's easy to eat. And
Yeah.
they can go right on back to the bar and drink some more.
Are you close to NYU at all with one of your stores?
I guess 9th Street's pretty close, right?
Pretty close?
It's pretty close. It's close to the dorms.
That's great for
Yeah.
a college student. A nice option.
We're looking for something on McDougal Street, which is
Oh.
very NYU adjacent.
Totally.
But the closest location is in the East Village. We literally have an NYU dorm on 2nd and 9th, or is that 3rd and 9th? I think it's 3rd and 9th. There's an NYU dorm, and there's a lot of students coming there from that.
So are you just like on the hunt every day for the best property to expand?
I mean, I am our in-house. I don't want to use the word counsel, but I am our in-house real estate agent, and so yes, I mean, we have plans for where to expand.
Yeah.
And it's like we're expanding we want to do it in the smartest way possible, right? Because we don't want to grow to an extent where it's just like we then become a flash in the pan and nobody wants to be part of us, right?
Yeah.
So what we notice as we open stores, we see a spike in the first 3 months because people are like, oh, cool, this is the new thing in the neighborhood. And then there is kind of a drop off. But we do have a consistent base of people that do come from us. And they do order from us,
Yeah.
and it is because we're opening strategically. We're not going to be like Starbucks, where it's like
On every corner.
yeah, there's one on every corner, like every 5 feet. No, we're not
Yeah.
trying to do that. But we're opening more strategic locations in strategic neighborhoods that will allow us to grow in a smart way.
Amazing. When we get back, I have a ton of more questions on how to scale a brand and maybe some challenges you've had during this time. Stay tuned. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970 The Answer.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970. The Answer.
Okay, we're back. On the show tonight, we're talking about how to scale a brand. And I have Ariel Strizower on the show this evening and Mike Salzano. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us again.
My pleasure. All right, before the break, we were talking about gnocchi on 9th, which is the viral grab-and-go pasta concept that's all the rage in New York City right now. And I want to talk a little bit about your foundation and strategy with building this brand. What were the key factors that drove the initial success?
Luck and hospitality.
Let's dive into both. Let's talk about the luck part. Are you going to refer to the food influencer that posted about it?
She wasn't necessarily a food influencer.
Is it Kate? Is it Kate Noor?
I don't know who Kate Noor is.
Okay, Kate, she's out of Hoboken. She's this like food influencer out of Hoboken. She did post from your place once, which is how I originally found out about it. Like when Steve Cuccinelli mentioned this to me, I had already known what gnocchi on 9th was because of her post.
Okay.
So who was the person that posted about it?
So she is a NYU student, or was an NYU student who lives in a neighborhood. She is a few blocks away, or she lives right on St. Mark's, and we're on 9th Street. She was just a regular that was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And
in the very beginning, the first two, I think she'd come a few times in the first 2 weeks.
She was like, within the second week, like she was there every day because it was like, she's like, oh my God, this food is amazing. This is great. I love how it tastes. And she was like really just a big fan of the food from the beginning. And she's there probably every other day now or every few days.
Wow.
Just because she gets free gnocchi for life now.
Oh, does she? That's amazing.
She definitely does.
Because we were just very, very nice to her, very hospitable, and we're like, hey, how are you? You know, like just being a friend. And so she comes in one day and goes, hey, I'm going to make a TikTok for you.
Oh, TikTok. Nice.
She doesn't have a following that's notable in any way, shape, or form.
Are you going to tell me her name? So I can... Well, you can do it afterwards. I need to follow her.
Sienna?
Yeah.
Sienna Isabella is her TikTok.
Oh.
Yeah. So...
I'm not even on TikTok. Is she on Instagram?
She might have one.
I would imagine she does. I don't know what her handle is there.
Okay.
I don't have a TikTok either. But
no, yeah. So she just comes in. She goes, hey, can I make a TikTok of you? And I'm go, sure. Do you need me to say anything? She goes, no, I'm going to do a voiceover. So I didn't know she was like some kind of like, I don't want to say a marketing major or some sort of she had like a class, and she like does video reels for class or whatever. So she does this reel, puts it on TikTok, and next day we had a line outside. And I sold out by 7:00.
And I wasn't in the store. I was just Mike, what the hell? What's going on? Why are there so many customers? Is everything okay? And he's like, they're all saying they came because they saw a TikTok.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So it was off to the races.
Yeah, and then it was like we kind of ran into a supply chain problem.
Tell me.
There wasn't enough gnocchi.
You almost like robbed the world of gnocchi.
We almost did.
No, we kind of did.
Yeah.
Like the Northeast, we purchased all of the gnocchi that was available.
Stop.
Yeah. Like Cisco, which is one of our
Yep.
food suppliers and the largest supplier for restaurants in the country, we bought all their gnocchi.
It was a scramble. No, we
Yeah.
had to.
So were there ever times where you couldn't sell gnocchi because there wasn't enough, or you just like took it all basically,
Well, I mean,
and other people suffered?
until we figured out what was going on and the depth of the demand after the TikTok, we did sell out for either 2 or 3 days early, and then after that, I don't think we'd ever sold out again after that point. It wasn't necessarily easy to keep getting the product, but we made it happen because we knew the demand was there.
Yeah, we had to drive to like Connecticut to
You
go
had to
get
go to
pasta.
every supermarket.
I think there was one day I drove 7 hours to get gnocchi and bring it back to the
Oh
stores.
my goodness, I'm dying
Yeah, he drove to Connecticut one time.
to get gnocchi.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we
That's
already
wild.
we cleaned out all the shelves in the boroughs.
How much? Okay, like in one particular store, how much gnocchi are you going through a day?
Well, this was back when we only had one store.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so give me both schematics here. One store and like as a whole.
it was what, like 500-600 pounds of gnocchi a day when we had just
Well,
one
it
store?
was 1,200 orders was the busiest day.
So call it 5 or
1,200
pounds.
orders of gnocchi.
Yeah, out of a store twice the size of this studio.
Right.
Not even twice the size of the studio.
Yeah, it's like
I know.
200
I
square feet.
mean, I've been in. It's tight in there.
Yeah.
It's standing room only. There's no stools. There's no counter. It's grab
You
and
walk
go.
in, you walk out.
Yeah.
And you're lucky if you have your table and 2 chairs outside.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you got to look for a bench or eat it on the go
Yeah.
or in the car, like I had to do on the way home to New Jersey. All right, so I want to talk about your ideal employee. When you're looking to hire people, because you're doing a little cooking there. There's the customer service aspect. They have to be fast and sharp because it's in and out. What does that look like?
I will reference everybody to who's looking for a job at Gnocchi on Ninth to go to gnocchinyc.com.
Yes.
There's
Good plug.
an employment section at the bottom. You can send us an email with your resume. We'll gladly accept your application. So what we look for are, young college students who are looking for a part-time job, is one of our candidates, as well as other people who have food service experience that are just looking to provide great service, right? The menu is simple, so you do not need to be a person who has worked in the kitchen before. We hope you can boil a pot of water, because that is the most complicated thing you will be doing when you start working for us.
Right.
Yeah, we don't need fine dining chefs.
Totally
we
not.
need people who want to work and who can work and be excited about what they're doing.
Yeah.
We can train people how to do the day-to-day operations and make the food. I can't train somebody to smile and have the right attitude.
Absolutely.
So as long as you have a willingness to work and you're excited about what we're doing, we can show you how to do things our way.
Yeah.
That's the easy part. We just need people with a good attitude who want to work.
I love it. How do you determine when it's the right time to scale? When you're like, okay, this store is got its legs under it. It's good. Business is good. Let's move to a new location. Is it just when you find the location that you're like, I can't pass this up? It fits our model.
I think a lot of it is when the right location falls in our lap. I don't know if
So you're reverse engineering.
Yeah, I don't know if we've ever been ready to scale to the next location.
Yeah, so the funny thing was, I think it was like I was in real estate, right?
Yeah.
So I have connections with landlords directly. And, sometimes when you're working with the landlord directly and you have that relation, it's easier as a, as a owner of a business to go ahead and work with the landlord, right? And then versus working with the broker and things like that. So when I was, our second location, which is on Orchard Street on the Lower East Side, I literally got a phone call. And that phone call was, "Hi, Mike, I have a location I need to lease, and you can only cook with electric. Do you have anybody in mind?"
You know what? We didn't even talk about that part. That is, we got to talk about that part. Keep going. I'm making a note here. That's
Sure.
the best
Circle back,
part of your
circle back.
concept.
She goes, I have a space for rent. It's ready for food, but it's electric cooking only. Mm-hmm. I go, "Do you have anybody in mind?" And I go, "Yeah, myself. What's the rent?" And this was like literally like 30 to 40 days after we opened 9th Street.
Oh, that soon.
Yeah. We were like, okay, this is going very well here. the rent on this next location is very affordable, and it's in a desirable neighborhood for us, right? So we wanted to, we used Orchard Street to sort of test this to see if it's a drunk food, to see if it's a food that people want more than just to be a fad. And, is it our busiest location? Not really, but it is a location that has proved to us that there is demand for after hours. Mm-hmm. There is demand for the food to be, wanted by people, when the bars close.
Right.
12 a.m. to 3 a.m. is definitely the busiest time of the whole week at that location.
Oh, my goodness.
So it did at least prove that it is a good late night food.
Yeah. I mean, I would go for that. Totally.
Yeah.
We were just talking about the electric stove concept here. You have no real kitchen equipment in your store, right? Everything's cooked on induction ovens.
Correct.
In the front.
Correct. Not ovens, tops. Induction tops.
Burners,
Yeah. Okay. That's like a wet dream for, anyone who's.
Can you say that on the radio?
Can I say that? Okay. For like a restaurant operator, because like maintenance and stuff on kitchen equipment is just so troublesome. You've struck gold with this.
Well, that's also how we got our first location, right? Our first location, the biggest thing that we have to do when we move into a spot is, if it's not already there, is put in a 3-bin wash sink.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we're giving away secrets here, right?
I know. I don't want to.
It's a
you have your
requirement.
Recipe for success, and I know it, and I can't say it.
But we make sure we can meet all the health code requirements within the space, right? So that includes a 3-bin wash sink, a hand wash sink, and a bathroom for employees. Right?
Bathroom for employees,
correct.
Not necessary for customers because you don't have seating.
Correct.
Right.
I don't remember the exact number. I believe it's, if you have more than 8 seats, you have to have a bathroom.
Maybe it's like 8 to 15 or something like that.
Along those lines.
Okay.
We don't have any seats in any of our stores, so that's why I don't have that number dialed down.
Wow. I mean, I've been in Mike's ear for a good part of a week now, trying to get you guys to maybe expand outside of New York.
It's definitely conversation. We have a few locations in New York we're trying to tackle first, but
it's more New York. You're striking where the iron is hot, and it's in New York
for now. But we're definitely talking about other spots as well.
Mm-hmm.
Other cities. I mean, we know that this works in a city setting,
yes.
right? So that's thing number one. Number two, it's also like when you're dealing with a larger city, you have the same regulations, right? So it's not like we're reinventing the wheel every time we open a new location. We're filling out the same paperwork in New York City for every location with the health department. We're filling out the same paperwork to incorporate because we're operating within the same state. And New York just has that ability for you to scale.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people and there's so much demand here.
And it's not just Manhattan. You can move out to the other boroughs and the process is the same.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Like the paperwork process.
Correct.
As long as it's in the 5 boroughs, yeah, it'll be the same.
How do you maintain your brand's core identity while scaling? I guess it's just like you keep it simple, right?
I think we're also so early on that we're still learning exactly what that identity is. Mm-hmm. But I think the big thing for us is these small footprints and that homey feeling when you walk into our stores, that no matter how many stores we have or how fast we open them, they are all very welcoming, and the people who are working there and the smell when you walk in and just the feel, it feels
cozy. Homey. Pasta is a comfort food.
Exactly. So that's what we're trying to hold on to, no matter how quick we open up or where we open up, that it has that individual cozy feel in every one of our stores.
Are your other concepts that you have personally, Ariel, are they jealous of the success of Gnocchi on 9th?
I don't want to say that anyone's jealous, but I think that I personally wish that they were all as successful as Gnocchi on 9th. But it's been a great year. I'm not in a position to complain.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
You're so grateful. That's adorable. All right, we're going to go to our last commercial break, and then when we get back, I want to talk a little bit more about, the customer focus, the marketing, the branding, the challenges that you did endure. So stay tuned. You're listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970 The Answer.
Over the last 30 years, Newman Ferrara, a New York City law firm, has evolved into a national practice focused on real estate, commercial, litigation, civil rights, class actions, and other complex litigation, representing many of the city's largest property owners, managing agents, and thousands of tenants. Newman Ferrara handles some of the nation's most significant class actions and civil rights matters. Newman Ferrara at 1250 Broadway in New York City. Go online to newmanferrara.com. That's newmanferrara.com. Listen to the firm's name partner, Lucas Ferrara, every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Dottie Herman's longest-running real estate radio program, Eye on Real Estate, on AM 970. A real estate lawyer for 35 years, Lucas is a professor at New York Law School and is also a published author with books on real estate and New York's landlord-tenant law. Tune in Saturdays at 10 a.m. to hear Lucas's unique perspective and advice on Eye on Real Estate.
Welcome back to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates on AM 970. The Answer.
Okay, we're back. We're talking about how to scale a brand. And on the show, if you're just tuning in, I have Mike Salzano and Ariel Strizower from Gnocchi on 9th, the most viral grab-and-go pasta concept that pretty much ever existed. And I just want to make sure I really talked about this correctly on the show. I don't think people can really understand, unless you've seen it on social media or have been there, what exactly they have going on. It's a Chinese food takeout box with the most delicious gnocchi in it. You can have an option to top it with a beautiful bulb of burrata. And it's just like a simple idea, but it's been a sensation. And on top of it, and most importantly, they've seemed to have created an Instagrammable moment with it, which really lives in the social media digital marketing sector, which has helped with their success. Mike, tell me about Gnocchi on 9th and the digital marketing, the Instagrammable, feature you have in the front of the store.
So we don't actually spend money on marketing. I just want to put that out there.
Okay, that's interesting because a lot of people do, and they think that's how you become successful. So dive into this, please.
So when we initially went viral, the social media influencers followed us or came to us, right? So there was that one video we were talking about earlier that happened.
Yep.
And then that started just bringing the people to us. So once the momentum starts going, it just keeps going. And then people need to feed the beast.
Yes.
Because they need to stay on top and stay relevant for their viewers. So they were like, oh, wow, this is the new thing. Let's go get it. Let's go do it. And those people started to, come and take certain photos in front of our store with the food.
Yeah.
So we chose the Chinese takeout container simply because it's the easiest way to walk with something and eat it simultaneously.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not, there's different versions of the takeout container that are round that could fit in a cup holder for a car that we've been pitched. But the square one, that is the classic one, is literally the easiest one for you to hold. It is also what attracts people to make the social media post. Like, it's the white things framing. It's already framing it, right? So it's like you're not having to do work. It's framing the food.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, my God, cool. And it's like, I don't know, maybe the algorithm saw the square box, and was like, oh, cool, this is like a cool shape. And that's why the algorithm where we have no clue why it took off. I
have to say, I guess I was pretty basic also because I did that same photo for my social media when I first started the show. Because I've only been on since September. I did visit your store on the Upper West Side and did a photo like that. And I am by no means a food influencer. I'm 40 years old, so that's just not what I'm doing. But I posted a post about Gnocchi on 9th, and the hits I got, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is the content people want to see.
Yeah, that's kind of what it became. Because all these influencers, they're all looking. That's their business. So they need to be on top of the next trend and what's viral, and they need to get their own content. So when we were fortunate enough to be in the limelight and to be that desirable photo, everybody just started reaching out to us. Everybody started coming by. A lot of them didn't even let us know they were coming, but they were all coming for that photo, for that moment, to have the Chinese takeout container with the burrata on top, holding it up to our logo in the glass. Everybody came for that photo. There was for a long time we had a line almost down the entire block.
And you're wearing the hat today.
I live in the
I love it. I think it's important to note that you guys sell more gnocchi than any other restaurant or concept in the whole entire country.
Yeah. From what we understand, I don't think that it even comes close. And not even as a company, I just think just any of our locations would do that on their own.
That's amazing.
So when we expanded for the holiday markets, we had to have them prep and let our suppliers know. So they literally brought in an additional container, a full container
of
gnocchi.
Is that why all the drones were flying around New Jersey?
Yeah, just for the gnocchi.
Yeah, they were looking for the gnocchi.
lookout.
That's incredible. Can we talk a little bit more about the holiday market scene?
Yeah.
Like Bryant Park, you guys were in Bryant Park, Herald Square, where else?
And Union Square.
Union Square.
Union Square, yeah.
Okay. So what was that like?
That was...
This is a huge food scene in these markets. It's not
No, it's insane. There's not really another way to describe it. It's a madhouse.
It was totally unreal. When it first started, we thought we were over planning and over preparing because things ramp, right? So I think the first couple of weeks, I just go to them and I go, hey, this is...
It's not that busy.
It's not that busy. This is what we do at on a Saturday at
Mike,
Ninth Street.
Just chill. Just wait and see what happens.
I can tell just the dynamic the two of you have. Like, you're the more chill. Mike is more like, I'm dotting my I's and crossing my T's. Probably is up with anxiety about things.
Oh, no.
I think
It's
you got
actually
it
the
completely
reverse.
backwards.
No way.
Yeah.
I would never think that. You're like the more casual-go-lucky guy?
Well, he is always worried about things, but I remind him about things.
Oh, this is funny.
And then he's a bit of you procrastinate a little bit.
I can procrastinate on some things, but everything gets done.
Yeah, we do get things done. But yeah, it's I constantly do have to remind him of things. But we do balance each other out somehow.
Yeah, it's a yin and a yang.
Yeah, we have great yin and yang balances. So yeah, but I am not the one that is dotting every I and crossing every T.
Oh, that's so funny.
But I am the one fixing the toilet.
Yeah, Mike's the handyman.
And building the stores. So.
Okay, did you build them out yourself?
Yeah, so the first store, that's how we actually...
That's a good way to keep costs low.
Exactly.
Do your own construction.
Yeah, I mean, and our build-outs aren't that complicated, right? So we tiled some we painted some walls, put up some tile, built
Put
a
in
counter.
some new flooring, built the counter. Nothing too complicated.
Yeah.
Did you have a design team, though?
Yes.
Yeah, the two of us.
Us at Home Depot.
Oh, my... I love it.
Looking
okay,
for good
but these are
colors.
the recipes for success that people need to know. Sometimes you don't spend so much on these other overhead things to get your operation up and running. You kind of do what you can on your own. You don't have a marketing team. You're doing your own marketing, social media. You're doing your own construction, and you're selling a really quality product at an affordable price. So the profit margins are probably pretty good.
Yeah, they're not bad.
They're not bad.
They're not bad.
It's gnocchi.
Yeah. And I mean, we also invented the brand, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like Steve, who had to work with Wonder Bagels, who is like, here's our brand guidelines.
Yep.
Right.
The franchise and like those guidelines.
We had to create those guidelines, and we had to create what that brand message is, right? So it's like, all right, here's 9th Street, our first location. We were like, okay, what colors are we going with? We're like, what does the logo look like? What does this look like? What does that look like? Right. So we're literally building that from day one. And I mean, building out the first store took us what was that, a month?
Just about 4 weeks.
So, and it was like sort of the debate between what is this? Are we going to do this color or no? Is it this color?
Oh my gosh,
we were like trying to pick the right yellow for the walls. Right, and then we were trying to pick the right tile.
We didn't even have a name for the store. We didn't know we were going to call it.
Yeah,
Well, who came up with the name?
Ariel.
I just realized we're on 9th Street and we're selling gnocchi. Gnocchi on 9th, done.
Born, done.
Yeah,
we were running through a million different names, and
What were some other things that were in the running?
Well,
nothing good.
Nothing good. It wasn't good. Listen. People try to
Gnocchi in a Chinese container box.
It was like gnocchi! ! Gnocchi NYC.
Well, gnocchi NYC is what we ended up using for our domain, but like our we ended up like what we ended up doing is we ended up, to figure out the name, we went through like AI. All shit names.
Yeah.
All the names are garbage.
ChatGPT did not help.
Did not help at all.
Really?
No.
That's
We're
interesting.
like, this name's horrible. Because it's like we would take the names that ChatGPT gave us, and then like we would plug them into Google or kind of like see what people would associate it with, and it was just like it just didn't work.
Yeah.
You know. Plus, it was like, oh wait, there's already a brand with that name, so we can't use it.
So do you guys think you'll ever do something besides gnocchi? Like if you incorporated like, it doesn't even have to be the same concept, maybe like a spin-off of like a different pasta, or incorporate multiple pastas, like a pasta bar?
Yeah, for Farley on Fifth.
Farfalle on Fifth.
Right.
Or
yeah.
I don't think so. I think that, gnocchi was what we wanted to do in the first place, and we never anticipated it to be 10% of what it is now, and I think we're happy to stick with that, and if we're going to expand, it's going to be more in the direction of new sauces and not changing the product.
Maybe like a seasonal sauce.
So that's what we've been doing. So we had
pumpkin something.
We had a pumpkin for the fall.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we did a roasted pumpkin sauce with goat cheese on top.
Oh, beautiful.
And sage. We are working on a winter one. We don't know if we're going to do a winter one. We got a little caught up with the holiday market.
Yeah, we're like in the winter.
Yeah, I know. But we'll definitely be doing a spring and a summer special sauce.
Yeah, like I don't even know, like a primavera is nice for the spring. Something just light and veggie.
Yeah.
But the gnocchi is gluten free.
It can be gluten free.
Oh, so it's not all gluten free.
No.
Okay.
If the
Gluten-free-
customer asks, it would.
Do you
be
have a special gnocchi, and there's probably an upcharge, right?
Yeah, it's an additional charge for the gluten free because it's a much more expensive.
Totally.
product.
All right. What kind of challenges or like unexpected obstacles do you think you faced when you were scaling this brand?
Between managing our time and also just allocating all of the product.
Right.
There was definitely a lot of stress at first of where we would be able to get the product and if our vendors had enough on hand or if they had enough coming in. So we had to develop a rapport with our purveyors and make sure that they were aware of what we were doing so they could always have more in the pipeline, especially for the holiday markets. We had to plan ahead of probably five months to have that product.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like during COVID, some people were hoarding gloves and sanitizer. You guys are hoarding gnocchi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even the food pails as well, right? So, like, in the beginning when we went viral, even on the first day, I'm walking around. This is like 2 hours before we're supposed to open on day one. And I'm like, where are these takeout containers? Like, where are the Chinese takeout containers? I didn't even know what they were called. And, like, apparently the name for these Chinese takeout containers are food pails.
Food pals. I wouldn't think that.
No.
I mean, when you say food pal, I think of like a bucket or something.
Exactly. Well, I mean, when you really look at it, it's kind of like a paper bucket.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what we ended up doing is like I'm like running around this place called Jetro, which is the one store because I was at Restaurant Depot. They didn't have the food pails. So then I go to this store called Jetro, and I end up buying like 2 boxes of food pails because there's 500 in there. And then what had happened was at one point when we got so busy, we ended up buying not only all the gnocchi, but all of the food pails.
Oh my gosh.
From Jetro and all the food pails from Restaurant Depot.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
do that.
Why aren't you getting this stuff online? Couldn't you get it cheaper online?
No.
No?
The food pails were paying $42 a box.
And how many?
$45
You
a
said
box.
500?
500 in a box. And online, those boxes of food pails,
I think they're closer to like 60.
they're 60 to 80 a box.
Wow.
And then you got to pay for shipping on that
Yep.
because of the size of the box. And it's not like this is available on Amazon.
Interesting.
So
All right, someone who's looking to start a business, whether it's fast casual concept like yours or even something bigger, like what advice do you give people looking to start a business?
That's tough.
I mean, this is a complicated question. You can go so many ways with it, but
Yeah, because Mike and I really just jumped into it. We didn't know what was going on, and it could have just fallen right in our faces, and we could have both been screwed in the end. But we were fortunate that it didn't go that way. I'd say have certain things in order. Do your research. Have a very clear idea of how you want to execute a name, color scheme, get your logo, get your designs, get your menu, have all of your things that are going to take research and time and development. And if you think you're ready and you really want to do it, I think just do it. It's really easy.
just jump in and do
It's
it.
really easy to delay
yeah.
and look for a million excuses. And you're never going to have everything 100% ready, but you'll figure it out as you go.
It's like when you have a child. You're never really ready. Just jump in and do it.
Mike and I are still making changes all the time now. We're still adapting and fixing and tidying things up. So if we wanted things to be perfect, we still wouldn't have opened to this. We'd still have things to fix to this day.
I think that's great advice. Mike,
Yeah, most people don't execute. That's their biggest hang up. It's kind of funny. It's like you watch all these Tony Robbins motivational videos and stuff like that.
Right.
And his biggest conclusion is you need to make a decision, whether it's the right or the wrong decision. You need to do something. And because if you do nothing, you're not going to get anywhere.
I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. This was wonderful. I'm obsessed with your concept, and I wish you both continued success in all your future ventures. Thank you for listening to Culinary Confidential with Christina Cates, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on AM 970 The Answer. Culinary Confidential is now streaming on all major platforms: Spotify, Apple, iHeart, YouTube, Amazon, and Audible. And if you want to keep up with the show, follow my handle on Instagram, Culinary Confidential Christina. Send me a message if you have ideas or topics you want to hear on the show. That's the show. Thanks for listening. Have a great night, and check out Gnocchi on Night.